Shut up and sit down.
I'm Valerie Jackson. I'm the president and co-founder of Olympic Peninsula Equine Network, Open, the horse rescue for Clallam County. My co-founder Diane Royal and I, kind of on our own, in our own backyards, we started saving horses a couple at a time as we could afford through our own personal properties and as our household budgets would allow, and we'd try and take a horse that was at risk of possibly just needing rehabilitation or possibly at risk of going to slaughter. We'd save the horse, we'd get it what it needed, whether that was medical attention, vet care, just groceries, and then we would try and find it a home, and then if any money came back in, we'd reboot our kitty to be able to help the next horse down the road. We host vet clinics. We try to do them 2 to 4 times a year, and we will invite the public to bring their own horses. And we've used a couple of different vets. Dr. Tooley is who was here yesterday, and he's probably done the most clinics for us. And basically what he will do is he will set some discounted prices, and he donates the farm call fee. So we have an appointment fee that goes to the rescue, and everything else goes straight to the doctor. But this is one way that we can afford to, for instance, yesterday we had 15 horses seen. 4 of them actually belong to other people. So out of those 15 horses, 11 of them were actually our rescues. So to be able to have all these horses seen, and it cost us, something that we can afford is a big part of it. Every day is something different. Some of it is, just not allowing it to break your heart. We see a lot of neglect and a lot of abuse that, if you let it can really damage you. You can kind of lose your faith in humanity some days, and then the next day you have someone step up like today and donate 100 bales of absolutely gorgeous hay, and it really helps restore us. Sometimes you just don't know how much longer you can do it, and then somebody does something and says, I can do it another day. It's fulfilling and it's heartbreaking all at the same time. We do love what we do. We do love these animals, and we are trying to make a small difference in our community. We try to be everything we can for whoever needs our help.
I'm Dee Christensen, and I'm a member of Chapter IV, which is one of the many chapters here on the Olympic Peninsula. And you are?
And I'm Joy Sheedy, and I'm also a member of Chapter IV, and we have 13 chapters here on the Olympic Peninsula. We all do essentially the same thing, which is to provide scholarships for women who are continuing their education. We have 6 different programs that we sponsor. And part of our group is to, our mission is to raise funds so that we can continue to give these scholarships to local people.
Encourage women to go on for higher education so they'll have a time in life when they, if they need be, support themselves or their families. Also just gives them a great deal of self-worth and a value in themselves achieving that, which is really important, I think, to women. We're very much for the young women, supporting young women. We are, very much so.
So we're the oldest women's organization in the nation, 147 years, I believe. And they started a long time ago, and were for women's rights and all of the 1849, something like that.
And in 1920, they were one of the people, it was Alice Byrd, I believe, who was one of the first persons to step forth with the Equal Rights Amendment and presented it to Congress in 1920.
There are 6 projects that we support, and one of them is a college in Nevada, Missouri. And it's an all-women's school. It's a 4-year degree program. So some of the other programs are the PCE, which is a program for continuing education. And it's for women going back to school who've had a 2-year break in their school. Any wide variety of programs that will give them a job when they're finished. So it's a really big one, and we have done a lot of those scholarships here on the Olympic Peninsula. Another one that is really successful is called the ELF Loan, and it's the Educational Loan Fund. And as you know, college is exceedingly expensive nowadays, and you know, to get a student loan is really, I mean, it's great that it's offered and it's available, but it's a lot of money and a lot of interest. Our loan is 2%, and it's for certificate programs, BA, BS, master's degree, and doctoral programs. And it's a tiered loan program based on which degree you're going for. So, but it's a wonderful loan, 2%. So, another one is the International Peace Scholarship, and this loan, or this scholarship, is for international students, women, to come to the United States and study. And most of them are in a master's or doctoral program. And the requirement is that they go back to their country and are there and giving back to their country. Another one is the Scholar Award, and that's for people going on for a doctoral program. And then the newest one is a STAR Scholarship, and it's for high school seniors. Once they graduate, and they it's more of a leadership award, so they have to have been active in the community, active in their high school, active in their life. And it's not just grades, it's not just work, it's a wide variety of emphasis on leadership.
It means everything for a woman, don't you think, to be able to go back to college? Self-worth is probably the most important thing, that all of a sudden they're valued, they're learning something, it's exciting, they know that they're going to go out and be able to earn a decent living, make a good salary.
Well, and they say too, you know, if you educate a woman and you educate the community. Without an education, it's really hard to get a good job. And, you know, minimum wage jobs, low paying jobs, just don't work anymore. Yeah,
it's good for their family, their children, really. It empowers them, and I think they pass that on to the children,
of course,
the self-assurance.
Yeah. Well, and it's just a global awareness. I mean, if after high school you're kind of, you know, not always so aware of the world, and this just gives you so much more education as to what the world is really all about.
I feel very strongly about supporting women in every way, as a family, as a mother, as a, you know, in business, in the community, as a volunteer. So when I saw P.E.O. was asked to join this, and I learned about it, I went, yes, this is something I could do here in this community that helps on a global scale, really, in each small way, everything we do. So that's why I chose to join this group.
And I would have to say the same also, because I worked at Peninsula College for 26 years, and I saw students struggling. You know, they'd have to quit, or they'd have to take a break because of finances. And although these scholarships are not a lot, they really do help. And it's so exciting for our group of, mostly older ladies that get to know a young woman and her family situation and her life, and we support her through her educational process.
We don't want to lose touch with them.
Right.
We have events every now and then, a tea or a coffee or a lunch, and whoever is in town, please come. They bring their parents sometimes,
That's right. Yeah. Or their children.
And the more you give, the more you get back. I always say that, and so we get a lot back from
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes, we really do.
I started because it's another art form that I just figured that I needed to grasp. I'm not always happy with one subject with art. I may be happy with one piece every once in a while. Like I'll do some panels for like comics, and then I'll stop right there, and then like I don't like it at that time, so therefore I just push to a new subject, not necessarily pushing it away. It's just, for me, my brain is scrambled basically, and doing art-related things such as photography, making music, creating comics, illustrating, it unscrambles my brain in this sense for me. So that is one of the reasons why I went into photography. I've noticed a lot, actually, especially when it comes to, even within comics and illustrations, the simple thirds rule helps a lot, and it's just something that I just never pictured. I mean, I get most of my photography is based on my illustrations already to begin with. The shadows are very rich and dark. I mean, they're like basically black, and it makes it almost how I draw, as well as like I get that influence from like Mike Mignola's work. Mike Mignola created the Hellboy comic series, and his line art is very thin, but then when it comes to his shading, it's just blocks of black that create this sense of shading. It's very in-depth, and that's what I like to do with photography, is just slide that shadow all the way up and not make it look bad. So art really takes my edge off. In most senses, it actually doesn't help like anxiety at all. It really embraces my creativity, which in a sense overall helps my depression.
The reason why I want to choose photography as my profession is because I think it's very beneficial, and I think it's very liberating to people in so many different ways. One of my favorite things about photography is that when you go to work, you know that you're going to have a good day because you get to make people feel so good about themselves, and what is better than that? And with photography, what I've noticed by being on the other side of the camera is that the photographer plays a huge role in making sure you're in the right mindset so that you can rock at your photo shoots. When I got professional photos done of myself, at first I was really nervous and very much in my head. I was nervous about how the pictures were going to turn out. But when I got there and I met the photographer, they gave me such a boost of confidence that I was able to take really good pictures, and I was able to get out of my head, just feel like the person I was inside. they were able to project that in the photos with the confidence that they gave me during that photo shoot. The reason why I want to be a photographer and why I choose it as my profession is because I think it's very beneficial and liberating to people in so many different ways. When you go to work as a photographer, you get to know that you're going to make somebody's day, you're going to make them feel good about themselves, and it's going to make you feel good. Photography is my choice of profession because I always want to make people feel really good and really happy and feel good about themselves, because I like to feel like that too. And what better way than with every photo shoot, knowing that you get to make somebody feel the best they can feel about themselves. When I was on the other side of the camera before, I got professional photos done of myself, and at first I was very much in my head, and I was nervous. I didn't know how they were going to turn out. I felt very self-conscious, and I let that get to me, but as the photo shoot progressed, because of the attitude of the photographer, I was able to get out of my head, and I was able to feel confident, and that was able to show in the photos. Things that might not seem like the perfect subject for photography might just be the most cool, unexpected, and unusual of outcomes, which is cool. You don't just have to photograph people, you can photograph anything, which is the beauty of it. Once you take a picture, that's just the beginning. With all the editing programs that are available, you can take that picture and turn it into anything your heart desires. It could be anything, it could be many things, or it could be just left as it is in the raw.
I started out at a young age, and my sister is a photographer, and I grew up with my mom always taking pictures with a disposable camera, and that's kind of how I got introduced to photography. I finally got really into photography once my aunt gave me a very, very nice camera to use for a couple summers, and once I got the hang of that, I realized that's what I wanted to do. And when I started taking portraits, which has been recently, I realized I am making people feel good about themselves when I'm taking their portraits or taking pictures of them in general. I'm new to portraits, so I haven't had too much of an experience of getting the feedback that I've been wanting from people when I'm taking their photos. But taking nature photography, I have been noticing a lot more that happens within nature, like the micro aspects, moss and insects and spiders, where you wouldn't normally see them, or where certain things in nature catch your eye as a photographer that you wouldn't see if you were just a normal person. And portrait photography, you try to make people feel good about themselves and have them see what you see in them. You make them feel beautiful and worthy of themselves. And when you do that, it just makes your whole self-esteem go up. When I start taking pictures of people and even nature, my anxiety just completely goes away. I know exactly what to do. I'm fully confident of what I am doing, and I know for sure what I'm doing is what I need to be doing. It makes me feel good, and it makes the person I'm taking pictures of feel good, and it shows others what I see in nature and what they don't see.
I was first introduced to all of this, and the hero's journey was introduced with it. I didn't quite understand it at first, but when I picked my steps and I started going through this, I started to really connect. It really is its own journey, and it's a great journey too.
It's like a whole new way, innovative way of introducing new students to exactly what they should expect in this program, which is just a ton of creativity, but in multimedia, which some people like separate those two, I feel like, technology, creativity. But here, you get to see it all in action and be very much a part of it, and yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's hard to look at a sheet of paper with all the different degrees and pick one out. It's really easy to go through the hero's journey interactively and then visualize what you're going to be doing and seeing all the objects you can interact with in real life.
And on top of that, when you're in a room with a counselor in real life versus Second Life, it's harder to understand what it really entails, especially when you feel pressured to pick one right away when you're with that counselor. Mm-hmm. Whereas Second Life, it feels more relaxed because it feels more like a game than it does a meeting or any of those things. It allows you to really explore what it could mean for you. It can do things like have job fairs just in that other virtual world.
Yeah, you can't use the monster outfit.
No portfolio, you are your portfolio.
In the virtual world, you can just have your entire resume floating above your head if you want.
You're good.
So long as you make it a texture and put a brim above your head.
You can just make your outfit out of it, you know? There you go.
Your entire outfit is just what your name is, your skills, your skill sets, your prior jobs, your references on your socks.
You can do anything. You can do anything, yeah.
Hello, this is Clara, and I'm here to walk you through the beginning part of the journey. So this journey was made in Second Life, and its point was made so that students could go through and interact with a 3D environment and learn more about the college and its programs there. This whole project is by students, and each year and each quarter, students add onto the project. Throughout this journey, you're going to come across a lot of symbolism. That's a big part of it. A lot of it is supposed to share a lot of wisdom and recommendation to students, and there's a lot of different animals, and each animal has a different symbolistic meaning, and all of the objects have a symbolism as well. There's infographics, which are like these poster boards all over the map. You kind of just follow along, and these are your buddies. They'll explain what that area is about. So the first step of the hero's journey is the ordinary world, and here you can see it actually tells you more about it. So this step refers to the hero's normal life, and it's
where they're at before they're called to the adventure. And there's slideshows like in a lot of places, so they're pretty cool and interactive. And these boards you'll be able to find everywhere. They have the students' infographics works, and they're supposed to go with each step. So there's 12 of these, and there's various ones. You can click on it and it'll change for you. See, at the beginning, we're accumulating a shop area, so you can take all these gears with you when you first start. And there's a lot of accoutrements. In the closet, we actually have textbooks from the classes here, like Hitchhiker's Guide. This whole project is supposed to be kind of like that. It's a guide, Hitchhiker's Guide. Renne always had us have a journey journal where we can write down all of our ideas and thoughts, and every creative person, I guess, likes, or so you say, likes to have a creative journal. So that's what we have here. You can click on it and get that. And there's also, you can get different various stuff. You click on it and buy it. And you click on this, and you get to wear, or it's actually free, but you get to buy different types of pirate hats, and you can pick whatever color you want for them. So this will go with the school theme, Peninsula College. Anyways, yeah, these cupboards, you can actually open them. I haven't put stuff in them yet, but it's work in progress. And so this is the ordinary world. As you see, these are the famous lazy couch. And here's also a slideshow that you can interact with. It takes a little bit for it to render, but it's interesting. Display station. And here are the animal of this theme, Matrix and Beatrix. So it's one of them is obviously a bad influence, the one that's on the lazy couch. And then the other one is here on the light bulb and is getting you to go on your adventure. So, yeah, Call of the Adventure. And here's the steering helm. This is a reoccurring theme throughout it. Each color goes with a step of a journey. That is kind of interesting. Then it's a circle because your journey is sort of like a cycle, and it can apply to your life over and over again. And so there's all kinds of animals, like there's baby deer, there's frogs, these keys, all these keys along the map and stuff have a meaning behind them. I believe in the beginning they actually had a key circle and it had what they represented. So in the beginning you want to make sure you look at all that stuff so you have a better idea of what they mean. So you can take your time walking through. I'd recommend not rushing through anything. And so the second step is Call to Adventure. And just walk through here. And here we go, is another infographics. You can click on that. And see, these mirrors were actually made by students in the 3D design class, or one of the students in the 3D design class. There's actual objects everywhere. And there's this neat path, and it's like can apply to a bunch of different students. You go down, whichever one applies to you. Like there's like worker training students, running start, and life learning and experience students, traditional students, etc. So, and then these deer also symbolize those different types of students. We go in here to step 3, and refusal to call. anyways, and there's also these treasure chests throughout the map. You click on them and you actually will get goodies from that. And there's different objects that you can collect for free from interacting with this place. And so you just want to look out for all different kind of objects on here. Because it's kind of like an I Spy. See if you can find all the different animals. And you can just like make sure to look at these signs because it'll tell you more about each step and how you can apply it to starting school or go back on, which is what we are applying the hero's journey to, is going to college. So we kind of structured it after that. So you can go and explore it and see how we did that. And I think it's really cool. And it's cool because it collects, it's like a showcase of all the students' work throughout the years. And I think it has some interesting information. I know I've learned quite a bit from it, and I've seen it change a lot since I worked on it. And I think people have been working on it for a few years. So I like to see where this goes or how much it improves over the years. So that would be interesting. Well, I think that's pretty far enough for the hero's journey. I hope to see you in here. It's pretty cool to look at all the different objects that people made. They're pretty much in least unexpected areas, so you kind of just have to watch out for them. Like especially this neat little thing. This little staff someone made, anchor. It's pretty cool. And I think like there's actually some objects, you click on them and you get little bonus items or like Easter eggs or something, I guess you would call them. And so it's a lot of fun, a lot of interesting information, and I would highly recommend that you go and check it out if you're into interesting ways of things being presented and education and having a little bit of fun along the way. Why not? It's cool. Well, log it off.
Black sunglasses, black sunglasses, famous faces, ups and falls, can all these places. Dark disguises, hiding habits of the rich and famous. That I get to create and build things and add to, because you can see what everyone else has added to it over the years, and we're just another round of like creative people coming through and adding more, and yeah, it's really awesome. It's just like quarters worth of everyone's creativity and ideas, and I like being part of it and building. I have friendship bracelets, which is totally gender neutral, like just a plain cuff, and yeah, that's just a little present for coming and looking at all my information in my beautiful little area in my second life.
I feel not only like I have ownership, but like more freedom in Second Life with things, and it allows me to interact more with my classmates, because in any other class I feel like I'm blending into the background, whereas in Second Life, in this virtual world, I'm able to really be me and do silly, crazy things, like make my avatar an egg.
I was about to say, you're an egg!
to make people laugh, to make people happy, and because of that, I've really been able to come out of my shell more than I would have otherwise. And I'm
Shell. No pun intended.
Maybe the pun was intended, and I was hoping. Well, pun's intended now. But yeah, it really allowed me to really interact more with others, and I've been known basically all of my life as the one that the kind of wallflower, the person that kind of sits in the back of class and doesn't interact much, because that's how I've always been and how I've really felt. And with Second Life, I was able to really start to be out there more and interact more.
And dance. Yeah, and dance.
Dance and make people laugh and actually be more social.
Which I think in turn also makes you more social in real life, because we see your egg and we see your personality represented in Second Life, and therefore we are closer in real life as well.
Yeah, and that kind of breaks down that wall that is there in real life for me, because once you get to know who I am through Second Life and how silly I can be, and you guys seem to be happy with that, it allowed me to kind of reach out more and really interact with you, because I don't feel like there's that wall there anymore.
Angie, because you're new to you're new to the hero's journey and all this stuff.
You are new.
What has surprised you so far in working on the project?
How much you can do in Second Life. It's not like any other game. It's really difficult to dress, but it gives you so many more options. It's like you can pretty much do anything. You could have a whole online school in there.
So I was focusing on making my store for this quarter. So last quarter I made some high tops, socks, and I'm going to try and use some like cool t-shirts and stuff. And I want to be able to monetize that so I can be able to sell it and make money off of that, which would be cool. But it also fits into the hero's journey. I think I'm doing it under step 10, which is the hero's journey home. And so you can come into my shop and pick up a souvenir for your way back home. Come back with some cool cakes. So that's been really fun for me because I can do it for free technically. It's only like 10 lindens or something for me to upload a texture. But in real life, if I wanted to like make my whole like custom shoe line, it'd be so expensive and so hard. But it's been really fun and easy, and it's able to kind of express yourself through clothing. I'm wearing like a lot of dark colors right now, but it is fun to like make yellow shoes that like nobody in real life would really wear except me. But on Second Life, I feel like a lot of people would probably resonate with weird, wacky clothes. So you can change your clothes as much as you want.
Side quest about what inspired me to come up with the Veterans Club is that, one, I really wasn't understanding the project to begin with. So I was thinking, on campus here we have a Veterans Club, but it doesn't technically have a meeting place. They just meet at different places. So I thought, well, why can't we build a Veterans Club in Second Life? We're doing a representation of Peninsula College in Second Life, so let's make a Veterans Club. Different veterans social meeting places are important to me as a veteran, so my hopes for this was that veterans can come into Second Life and meet and enjoy that camaraderie that they experience with their years in the military. No matter what branch you served in, veterans like to be with other veterans. They like to share stories and experiences. And another thing that I thought of with this is if veterans are suffering from PTSD and they want to talk, they might be more willing to talk when they're creating an avatar image of themselves and having a username that's not them, because veterans are taught from early on that we're men, we're soldiers, women, we're tough. We don't let these things get to us. We're just supposed to keep them inside and deal with them. But it's becoming harder and harder all the time. And back in the World War II days, they called it shell shock. Said somebody's suffering from shell shock if they were having trouble dealing with the memories of combat. And now they call it PTSD. Some people can deal with it okay, some people can't. My opinion is that if you've been in those situations, you're gonna have PTSD. No matter what, it's gonna be there. Those are things that you'll never unsee. And so if people can come in here and maintain their anonymity by having a username and password, they might be more likely to want to get things off their chest. That's a hope of mine, a dream of mine. The statistic is 22 veterans commit suicide every day, and if we can make something like this available so they can talk and get things off their chest and learn how to deal with things, and save one person, then it was a success. So that's what my hopes are for the Veterans Club and Second Life.
Several jobs that were low-paying jobs, but computer jobs. I realized that I would like a degree to go along with it, and that my learning had not reached its fulfillment yet. And so came here to PC to get a degree, and it turns out that I'm getting not just one degree, but 2 degrees. One in systems administration, the other one in cybersecurity. It's given me quite a bit of confidence. In fact, all the professors here have been incredibly helpful on this journey. When I came into this program, I immediately felt like I was the least educated person here at the college, especially in the technology program where there's so many younger students there. But after being helped by many of the professors and shown what I can do and just being allowed to do what I need to do, I have significantly more confidence and ability to just go out and start doing the things I need to do.